Yo, what's good, y'all? We are back. We are back. Asta broke Black Clover power scaling. I mess with this YouTuber a lot, and I like reacting to it because it's Black Clover content. And yeah, well, I've been reading the manga, and it's been wild, if I must say. So let's just check out this video real quick.
And of Black Clover, and I've been paying attention to the power scaling since the beginning, then I think you know just how crazy the power creep can get. And just when you think that it's beginning to slow down, Tabata just loves to speed it right back up.
That's
especially
true.
when it comes to the main character of the series, Asta, our favorite magicless boy. And to that one Ryu stand in my audience, I'm not sorry. Asta's the best. Anyways, we are now 35 chapters into Black Clover's final saga, and though you might ask, how much stronger can Asta get in just 35 chapters? Or better yet, the final saga has only covered about 7 days within the Black Clover timeline. But if you wait around and listen, you'll see that Asta must have Saiyan genetics because his rate of power progression is about on par as Goku and Vegeta. Now, if you guys end up enjoying this video, please do leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I do want to say, of course, there will be manga spoilers. So we can start by comparing
we caught up with the manga, bro. That's my favorite anime of all time, bro. Come on
the power
now.
levels of how the Spade Saga ended and how the final saga, the Ultimate Wizard King Saga, began. Basically, the peak powers of the Spade Saga were both True Devil Union Asta and Lucifero, who was only half manifested, and half of his power was left in the underworld. Now, a lot of people say that True Devil Union was far stronger than 50% Lucifero, but I disagree. Was also stronger? Clearly. But Lucifero did put up a fight, and we know that True Devil Union Asta can't be that much stronger than 50% Lucifero, because Lucifero himself believed that if he did have access to 100% of his power, then he would have defeated True Devil Union Asta. And it really makes sense. We know for a fact that Lucifero only had half of his power. It's also probably the case that he only had half of his physical strength as well. This means at a bare minimum, if it was 100% Lucifero, he'd be more than twice as powerful, possibly even 4 times if he had his physical strength, as it has been stated that the stronger your body is physically, the stronger it makes your magic. Which makes sense considering how life energy and mana are interconnected, which I believe that the fight with True Devil Union Asta was close enough that if Lucifero was anywhere between 2 to 4 times stronger, then he would have defeated True Devil Union Asta, even if he did shut his magic off. Which remember that even after Asta turned off Lucifero's magic, it still turned back on just pages later. And even with Lucifero's magic power off, Asta could not one-shot him. So yeah, the scale of how Spade Saga ended would go 50% Lucifero, then True Devil Union Asta, and then on top of True Devil Union Asta would be the strongest, 100% Lucifero, if he had manifested. And for reference, Lucifero at less than 25% power was able to easily solo Magic Knight captains who were amped by Ril's Valhalla. So yeah, that gives you a reference of how strong Asta and Lucifero were. But then a fifth.
Some of these I low-key forgot in a way, cause as I was reading the manga, I just go past by it like quickly. I'll be reading fast.
18-month time skip happened. Remember how much stronger characters got in the last time skip? It was only 6 months. Or the real ones know that that would actually be an 11-month time skip if you watched this video.
True.
Or hell, even how much stronger characters got for the 3-day time skip between the Joint Struggle arc and the Spade Raid arc showed some rather large power growth. Now imagine 15 whole months. And we actually told very quickly how much stronger characters have gotten since the Spade Saga. This is partially told through the massive promotions that Asta and Yuno received this arc. Yuno was promoted to the level of a Grand Magic Knight, the same rank as a captain, and Asta was promoted to the rank of Senior Magic Knight for his class, the equivalent rank of a vice captain. But even Fraudgolion admits that Asta should have been granted the rank of a Grand Magic Knight. You know what, Fraudgolion, you're right. And for that, I'll stop calling you Fraudgolion for the rest of the video. Now it's obvious that both Asta and Yuno scale well above the captains despite being ranked alongside them or even below them in Asta's case. And this is just objectively proved later on that they're way stronger than the captains. But this video is about Asta, so let's focus on him and begin with his fight against the Wizard Emperor Lucius Sagratis. Lucius pulls up to Clover and threatens Asta. Asta first goes into his brand new full black form to resist the time spell, before eventually transforming into his also brand new partial Devil Union and using his Demon Destroyer to shatter Lucius's time orb. Lucius says that he is stronger than Julius, and Asta says he will surpass the Wizard King to stop him. And you can argue that he did surpass the Wizard King, as Asta would negate many of Lucius's time spells, and would end up forcing Lucius to recognize Asta's strength, and make him activate his Paladin form, making Lucius even far faster and stronger to the point where he can beat Asta with a salute. That's right, a salute. Now, to determine how Asta's power starts in the final saga is determining how strong Lucius is. We do know that Lucius did fight and defeat 50% Lucifero, though this fight was off-screen. Now, there are some really weird interpretations that some of the fandom have that seems to purposely downplay the power of Lucius. Like, it's really weird. I see people who unironically think that Lucius, even in his Paladin form, is weaker than Lucifero, or that I've literally seen people say that Lucius didn't get any stronger from eating Lucifero's heart.
People
but
just be
anyways,
saying junk, bro.
Back to reality for us, right? People argue that Lucius, after having eaten half of Lucifero's heart, delivered to him by Adramelech, transformed into his Paladin form, fought 50% Lucifero with the help of Adramelech, and on top of this, they were fighting a weakened 50% Lucifero because they say Lucifero's body was still in ruins from Asta's anti-magic swords. Let's tackle
Comment down below what's your favorite manga.
this point by point. Adramelech helping Lucius? Adramelech is never shown to even be here in this battle. We even see a grander view and he's just not there. It's literally just Lucius and Lucifero. Also, Adramelech is the second gate devil.
Yeah,
There are 7 gates. Each gate gets tremendously higher in power levels, so there is zero evidence that there's anything that Adramelech could do to even help Lucius because he'd be an ant in comparison to their power. The second argument is assuming that Lucius transformed, beat up Lucifero, and then de-transform just in time for us to see him walking up to him. This doesn't even apply as a logical argument according to Occam's razor, and it's out of character for Lucius, as even after defeating Asta in the Clover Kingdom, he never de-transformed. He stayed in his Paladin form, so why would he de-transform here? Also, if we go by the context of the entire arc, we know that Lucius should be able to defeat Lucifero in base form, as when Lucius uses a time spell against Asta, he says the spell is so strong because he absorbed Lucifero, meaning that Lucius is in fact using Lucifero's power in his base form. And if Lucius's base form 15 months ago was his own power plus 50% Lucifero's power, that automatically scales him above 50% Lucifero, and then it makes sense because he then beat him. Especially when you factor in the fact that Lucius had a Grimoire and Lucifero didn't. Grimoires amp magic power. This means that after beating 50% Lucifero and taking the rest of his heart, base Lucius is now above 100% Lucifero. It can automatically scale above True Devil Union Asta in his base form. As for the argument that Lucifero started the fight against Lucius wounded from his fight with Asta, that's not how it works. There is no evidence to assume that the body from the living world being damaged would mean his body in the underworld would be wounded. We can also clearly see that the wounds here are different from the ones that Asta delivered to him. In Asta's fight, he bisected his body, but this Lucifero against Lucius has his legs sliced up, something that Asta never did to him, clearly showing that this Lucifero got bodied by Lucius, not Asta. To make matters even clearer, Lucius has Lucifero trapped in a time spell. Keep in mind, this is a base Lucius's time spell, and it doesn't matter if Lucifero's body is wounded. Even Lucifer himself says it doesn't matter what state his body in because of how strong his magic power is, and Lucius even agrees with him. So this is just pretty objective that base Lucius scaled above 50% Lucifero. Then when eating the rest of his heart, that means base Lucius is now above 100% Lucifero. This is actually supported by Asta stating that him and Libe have grown stronger since they last fought Lucifero, which, I mean, makes sense. It's been 1 year and 3 months, and they need to be this strong in order to fight someone who is stronger than 100% Lucifero. Now, many in the Black Clover fandom will try and argue that Asta's particular statement about them getting stronger only means he's stronger than a regular Devil Union, not True Devil Union, but this statement would not make any sense in context if that was what it meant. Asta, without even getting his True Devil Union back in the spade, had gotten stronger from this exact moment that's shown in the panel. So it would be redundant for Asta to say he had gotten stronger from that specific moment, because he already did, like, years ago. As it goes from base Asta struggling in Lucifero's gravity to Asta getting stronger, now he's walking through a stronger version of Lucifero's gravity, and then also you have Asta getting completely ragdolled by one blow from Lucifero while in Devil Union, to taking a kick from a Lucifero who had more than doubled his power, and Asta was taking it like a champ. Also, if we go by this logic that statements have to be taken 100% literally to the panel that they are thinking of, well, Ryu, who sees the entire world and saw the Lucifero fight, says that Lucius is the strongest. And in this panel, he's thinking of base Lucius. meaning that even Ryu agrees that base Lucius is in fact stronger than True Devil Union Asta. And even if I steel man this position and say that Lucius doesn't have Lucifero's magic power in his base form, despite I've already proved that otherwise, we do know that Lucius has Lucifero's physical strength in his base. We see that Lucifero's 50% strength with 0 magic power, thanks to Asta shutting it off, was able to withstand a kick from True Devil Union Asta. Now, Lucius has double the physical strength because he has 100% Lucifero, and he has that stacked onto his own physical strength with reinforcement magic on top of that as well. And this makes sense because partial Devil Union Asta was able to kick Lucius and send him flying away despite him being well more than twice as strong. So keep that in mind. Asta using a partial union is now strong enough to easily solo all of the Magic Knight captains from the previous arc, even if their magic power is being considerably amped by Rill. For the sake of this power scale, to see how much stronger Asta got from here, I'm going to say that partial Devil Union Asta is equal to 100% Lucifero, even though we know he's like far stronger, we just don't know how much. Now after Asta was defeated by Lucius, he would wash ashore into the Land of the Sun, Yami's homeland.
Yami's homeland!
Equivalent Ryu, who is the shogun of the lands, and Ryu had the Tengensu, giving him the ability to see the entire world at the sacrifice of wielding no magic power. He believed that if he trained Asta in their ways, that he would have the chance to defeat Lucius and save the world. He would meet Yami's sister Achika, and he would be trained in the ways of Zetten with the 7 strongest warriors of the Land of the Sun, the Ryuzen. Now before explaining what Zetten is, I want to debunk the idea that the Ryuzen have inherent advantages over Asta because they use a different power system and they fight physically. The people of the Land of the Sun have scrolls instead of grimoires, and they use Yoryoku to power Yojutsu. People seem to think this means that anti-magic doesn't work on Yojutsu as well as spells, because they're called differently. The issue is that these are the same exact things. This is even stated by Ryu, the Shogun. Yoryoku equals magic power, and Yojutsu equals spells. They are just called differently because it's a different culture with a different language naming the same things. Whoa. I also find the idea of the Ryuzen not scaling to Asta because they fight physically to be a pretty silly argument, because even if they fight physically, they are still reinforcing themselves with magic power, and now Asta is more of a physical fighter than he ever was. Remember, Asta already fought Lucifero long before the Ryuzen, and Lucifero was even more of a physical fighter than the Ryuzen because he had no actual spells to even activate. So because Lucifero is a physical fighter, that means he doesn't scale to Asta? That's the same logic here. Anyways, on to Zetten. Zetten is a technique using Ki, otherwise known as life energy. It is told that all mages subconsciously convert life energy into magic power. Zetten is just doing that consciously. When Asta sees Zetten, he actually calls it a mana skin, but with Ki. Using Zetten, mages or even Asta can amplify their magic power or anti-magic to launch out.
It might be up there as one of a really cool power, cause the way it's explained is it's just great, honestly.
A single attack is incredibly powerful, or a series of attacks where it splits up that Zetten power amp. When it comes down to the exact power growth, the issue comes down to translation. There are 5 different translations of the Zetten multiplier. The official translation says it's a 100 times multiplier, whereas one of the most trusted fanlations says it's at least a 10 times multiplier. But 20 times, 24 times, and 40 times are all probably more likely based on the translations that I've seen, and this is where the real debate seems to be. I will use 20 times for the Zetten multiplier for this video, as it is the lowest multiplier of the most sound translations. Now we see when Asta is first training with Achika that while she is holding back considerably, she is still as strong or stronger than Asta's full black form. Achika uses half of her Zetten power to one-shot Asta and knock him back into his base form. I say half because it seems that she split up her Zetten strikes, but if you use the dialogue that Ryu used, he says that she used her full force attack. It's actually likely then that she did use her full force Zetten and just activated it twice. Asta is actually in awe at Achika's power, to the point where he thinks that even if he had used Devil Union, it wouldn't have mattered, which actually supports the crazy power creep Tabata has instilled into this new arc. As back in the Spade Saga, Lucifero could not even one-shot Asta with a kick, but now Achika, while using a fraction of her power, can one-shot an even stronger version of Asta. Now Asta would train for a few days by getting bodied by the Ryuzen over and over again before he would get his rematch with Achika. In this rematch, Achika would actually fight seriously, as she would actually pull out her scroll and use it, and activate her transformation known as Dark Cloaked Black Warrior. She is stated to be serious now, and there's actual evidence that Achika's transformation is a higher multiplier than her base Zetten. As Asta in his full black form was able to resist Ichika's Zetten amplified magic, but now a much stronger Asta could not resist her gravitational pull at all in his full black form. He needed to go Devil Union in order to combat her pull. The deeper they got into the fight, Ichika even states that her and Asta are now equals, but she just has the advantage because she has the better Zetten. All we know is that Asta just got a lot stronger in his first few days training with the Ryuzen, but we cannot quantify exactly.
No, can we talk about the fact that he just stopped it immediately? This dude Ryu was cold, bro. This arc was
how
just
much stronger
cold.
he is, but he did learn Zetten. This is the issue that a lot of the fandom missed when reading. Asta used Zetten, and he can use it many times. He just didn't master it to the point where he could time its activation. So Asta early into the arc is now far stronger than 100% Lucifero with his partial Devil Union activated, and far more than 20 times stronger than that with his Zetten activated on top of it. But in the days remaining, Asta would only continue to get stronger as he would resume his training with Yosuga, the strongest member of the Ryuzen, a man so strong that as of right now he'd make Yami his bitch. Yosuga, in base, was easily beating partial W Asta even with his Zetten. Asta was getting dragged so bad that he needed Fujio to nerf the damage that Yosuga was dishing out, while also healing him at the same time. Yosuga is really built different. Keep that in mind when Asta started his training with Yosuga. Base Yosuga was stronger than him. In the middle of the Land of the Sun arc, 3 Paladins would invade. Paladins being the new villain group of the series, which were incredibly powerful foes. One of the more interesting Paladins was Yurlu, who has fear magic, and he actually beats Ichika and Kazukaku with his fear hacks, and has the battle won, but Asta arrives to save them. Yurlu would attempt the fear hacks on Asta, but Asta wouldn't be phased, and he would destroy the spell before he could cause any further harm. Upon seeing this casual slash from a non-Zetten partial W Asta, Yurlu would have his fighting instincts roused. That was from the sheer power that Asta displayed. This is actually crazy to think about because Yurlu saw all of the Ryuzen that were present display their full power, including activating full power Zettens, and that did not rouse his fighting instincts. This would mean that partial Deviant Asta is actually stronger than Zetten Black Warrior Ichika, meaning that he got over 20 times stronger while training with Yosuga. So post-training Zetten Asta has become far more than 20 times stronger than 100% Lucifero.
So this is where he really like took off. Okay.
Partial Devil Union. And with a full power Zetten on top of that, he'd be 400 times greater. Also, Asta Zetten gives him the ability to directly attack people's magic power so he can shut it off on command. So it's actually a very impressive ability that's incredibly useful. Now this could possibly be another 20 times greater if we include him actually surpassing Yosuga's full power. Because even Yosuga just like blatantly implies that Zetten Asta is just the strongest he's ever seen. He's just way too strong. Not even he could beat him. If that's the case, that would actually mean an even greater power amp for Asta. And if that is the case, it would likely increase whatever numbers I get in this video by 20 times. But I'm not going to use that for now because we don't know for a fact that his Iron God of War form is a Zetten equivalent multiplier on top of his base. Now you might think this video is already getting crazy with the power creep, but the power creep isn't even done for Asta, and the arc isn't even over. And keep in mind, this is likely just another arc in the overall final saga that will probably have 1 or 2 more arcs after this. So whatever power Asta is at the end of the video, it will likely be nothing in comparison to end of series Asta. Anyways, let's get to Asta's recent, even crazier power growth. In the middle of the Judgment Day arc with Yuno and the Clover Kingdom struggling against Lucius, his paladin generals, and the army of angels, the Black Bulls would seek to summon Asta by activating a massive ritual in tandem with the power of the Witch Queen. In order to stop the summoning, Lucius had sent Paladin Damnatio and a squad of angels to stop the ritual. Even with the combined might of the Black Bulls, it would be hard for them considering they were not at full strength. Asta was the one they needed to summon, so he wasn't there to help. Yami and Noel were, at the time, fighting away in the Clover Kingdom, and Vanessa and Finral couldn't help the Black Bulls as they were directly part of the Doomsgate ritual. Despite Damnatio stated to be stronger than a Supreme Devil, which is the same rank of Lucifero, and him having 4 wings, which would imply that he has more sacred power than Sister Lily and the other paladins that attack the Land of the Sun, the Black Bulls would resist. Thanks to Gordon and Henry, they were able to resist Damnatio's scale magic, allowing for the Black Bulls to keep their strength. And for reference to how powerful Damnatio is, he was easily beating Luck, who 15 months ago was obliterating Magicula. Even Noct training for 15 months with double Devil Union wasn't enough to combat Damnatio, even at all. He wasn't even close. For reference, even angels that were nerfed by Yuno's Neverland are strong enough to press an amped Phogolion. But Zora takes the power of a regular angel, doubles it, and launches it back at Damnatio, who was able to counter it with ease, meaning that even Paladin Damnatio is way more than 2 times stronger than Fugolion. But even when the Black Bulls are on the brink of death, Asta arrives to the Doomsday portal and starts walking through Damnatio's atmosphere.
Love this moment, bro.
Even pulling out his Demon Destroyer sword to surround himself with anti-magic to hit that JoJo pose. Even though the scale magic was useless on Asta, Damnatio believed that his physical sword and his magic power would still be enough to defeat him. But he thought wrong. Asta would pull out his slasher katana and activate his Zeton, outspeeding Damnatio and one-shotting him with ease. Crazy part, Asta didn't even feel the need to transform at all. This was a base Asta using Zeton. Remember that Yurlu thought he could kill partial Devil Unit Asta, and Asta needed a Zeton to win that matchup. But now, when faced with a likely stronger Paladin, because we know that Damnatio has 2 magic types and Yurlu does not, Damnatio also has 4 wings and more horns, which should be an indicator in how much sacred power he is using against him compared to Yurlu. This would in fact mean that Asta's base power got even stronger than his partial Devil Union. Now you can gauge what the multiplier for partial Devil Union is by using inverse scaling. It's actually such a complex discussion that it would warrant its own video, so I'm going to keep it a simple lowball for the sake of brevity. Asta's full black form could be considered stronger than a Zeton, as he immediately used his full black form instead of a Zeton against a Chica. Remember, Zeton's a 20 times multiplier. This is consistent as Asta's black form 1 was a many times multiplier for being comparable to Yuno's Spear Dive 1. If we go by inverse feats, black form 2 Black Divider Asta was weaker than base Dante. Then Dante went 60% Devil Power, which would be more than a 60 times multiplier. We know this because when Magna cut Dante's power in half, that reduced him to 50% Devil Power, which would mean if he had reduced Dante's power to 1%, we'd see 1% Dante. But when Asta went Berserk, he was able to scratch Dante, and their fight was a bit closer, making Berserk a 60 times multiplier on top of Black Form 2 Black Divider. I've mentioned it in many videos that Black Form 2 Black Divider is at least a 16 times multiplier on top of base. This would make Berserk a 960 times multiplier on top of base, but the full black form has 4 horns compared to Berserk's 3, so it should be a higher multiplier, all rounded up to 1,000 times. This means that Asta has gotten far stronger than 20,000 times in just a week, which means that Asta's Zeton is over 400,000 times stronger than 100% Lucifera. I don't care if you think this is crazy. Base Yuno had the captains shitting their pants, and base Asta has better feats than him now. And any mid-time skip, Asta got over 100 times stronger in like 2 days. And when he trained in the Grand Magic region in the mid-time skip, he was literally getting stronger with each step he took, getting deeper into the Grand Magic region. And that was before his contract with Liebe, where now his growth rate has increased. But even if you want to discount these crazy numbers, I'm completely okay with that if you hate these big numbers. But it's still absolute madness that Asta is so strong now that he doesn't even need to transform to defeat the big bad of the previous saga. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed my power scale of how strong.
Great video. Oh my goodness, bro. I hate that we're not getting a chapter this week, but dang, we're gonna get one next week. This Asta's scaling is pretty crazy, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Love Black Clover, love Black Clover. One of my favorite new gens. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and we out. Peace.